NES Multicart 901 Extreme Dare. The cart in question is the Atari Knights 191. What an interesting cartridge it is. How much is it going for? One bid sold for $125. Someone paid $125 for this thing. Greetings, folks. It's 1 in the morning, right on the dot, and I can't sleep. So I figure I'd make a video out of it with whatever semblance of consciousness that I still have. And, you know, if that doesn't put me to sleep, then at least I gave it my best shot. Anyways, I want to do something a little different, at least for this channel. I want to start showing up some of my gaming swag, and by gaming swag I mean, you know, all this stuff that I got here. I got a drawer full of Super Nintendo games. I got another drawer full of Sega Genesis games. I got another drawer full of PlayStation / Dreamcast games. I got a drawer full of God knows how many gamepads. And of course there's a drawer full of consoles there, but we're not here to talk about that. I want to start showing off some of my gaming stuff. I don't want to make a habit of showing, you know, the entirety of the collection, because I don't know how long I'd make that interesting. And there's a lot of ground to cover there anyways, and I don't really want to start doing that lest all of a sudden something happens and I, you know, either trade a game away and all of a sudden it's obsolete. Anyways, I'm sort of rambling here. Let's just get to the point of this video. I want to show off something interesting, and I want to show off some of the NES Multicarts that I have acquired over the past couple years. Now, for the sake of clarity, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, when I refer to an NES Multicart, I am referring to the aftermarket Nintendo Entertainment System game cartridges that would boast, you would go pay like a couple $100 grand for them, not $100 grand, couple $100. And they would boast 100 games, 200 games, 400 games, whatever the case may be. You have multiple games on these, and they're usually not on the money. Some of these games are just repeats of the pre-existing titles, except with minor changes and hacks and what have you. Anyways, the auction that I showed you on the top of the video, one guy paid $125 for a 191 game cartridge, which is essentially 66 cents a game, more or less. You could do the math yourself if you want, but I think that's the account that's what I last did. Not that I really care. Anyways, I bring that up for a simple reason. Because I bought 3 of these over the years, and then there's also the whole bunch of Famicom games, which I'll also show in as a little bonus. As much as a bonus, it's already lit. Anyways. So, let's start off with the Atari Knights 250 in 1, as opposed to 190 in 1. As what's listed on the auction. And you have this generic Prince of Persia like artwork. I think this was on a Prince of Persia game. I don't remember which one of the ports. The funny thing being that Prince of Persia is not on this cartridge. I'll give you a quick look at the listing. Hopefully the autofocus won't crap on me. As you could probably tell, the majority of the listings on this cartridge are all repeats. I've played through some of them. Some of them have minor hacks, some of them are just repeats with an additional menu tacked on. But in any case, going back to the other auction, the other guy paid $125 US for his 190 Atari Knights, 190 in 1. I bought this at a flea market for $25, which is essentially a dime a game. A dime per repeat on this game cartridge. Still, I think you get like what, 37 games, unique. Despite having like 8 different versions of Tetris, it's not all Tetris, it just got lazy with the labeling. But yeah, $25 for this game alone, $25. I know I paid like $35, but as it turned out, I bought another game with it, Robocop for NES. So I was pretty sure I didn't buy this alone. But $25 is not bad. They used, and to think that this would go online for like couple hundred bucks. Even back in the day, you would pay just as much for a copy of these. So, anyways, let's go with this now. This is 115-1. This is the most recent multi-card I picked up. I picked this up like, I think about last month or month or two ago. So, this is the most recent one that I got. And this one has a wider variety of games. You got the Legend of Cage cover. You got no Super Mario on there. No, I'm not joking. It's the cover. It's the overseas cover art to Super Mario Bros. 1. But they photoshopped Mario out of there, which is, I find, kind of odd. You have, I'm guessing that's Twin B, could be wrong. And then you have, I don't know. Here's one. Anyways, you got a bunch of foreign type there. I'm not familiar with the, I could be wrong. I'm not familiar with a type. That's English type. Okay, that's taking long enough. And that's the listing of games. There you go. Thank you, autofocus, for being so reliable. You'll note that this cartridge has a wider variety of unique titles. And when you get to the actual menu, the games are color-coded. So you have like a whole bunch of games are yellow, and then you have 4 or 5 zapper light gun games that are different color, and then you have the last bunch of games which are like, I think it was like 9, 10 more or less, that are repeats but have slight alterations. For example, there's a version of Gradius where your ship already starts out powered up. There's a version of it's like 4 different versions of that Dino Riki game, or New Human, or whatever, the new type, whatever they call it, and you know, that sort of thing. There's not as many repeats here, but you're still not on the money as far as original titles go. I'll give you this though. The one thing that I've noticed, you know what, I'll get to that later. Anyways, I paid about $35-40 for this. So obviously I didn't pay a whole lot. There's rarely a game that I have that I paid triple digits. You know, I usually... Anyway, here's the 190-1. It's not the Atari Knights one, but it's certainly different. It's probably a better value anyways. So anyways, you got the Adventure Island cover. You got some planes. You got Legend of Cage, or Legend of Kage if you want to be proper pronunciation. In this case I don't. You have some weird version of Tetris that's not on this cartridge, but anyways. And then you have the Super No Mario Brothers on this cover. And I'll go through the listing fast. Half the games are unique titles, or less than half the games are unique titles. The rest are all hacks with menus and stuff like that. But it's not a big deal. It's still a better value than, you know, the Atari Knights one, which only has like 40 games, but boasts a lot more than that. Anyways, I didn't pay a whole lot for this either. I paid like $40. But this easily alone could probably be around $300, $400, $500 worth of money back in the day, and even today, you know, if you've come across it on eBay. It was essentially like buying 3 copies of Action 52, except there's more games, and they're not shit. But I digress. Anyways, so those are my NES multi-carts. Now, I said as a bonus, or rather as a bonus, I was going to show you my Famicom collection and have it stored in this box. Let's zoom that out there. That's my Famicom collection. You've probably already seen some of these when I did my Curious Gaming vlog. And I might have shown these off when I did the Miracle X overview. But there's been some additions since either of them, so anyways, I'm gonna try and pick these out in no particular order. So this is the Super Contra cartridge, and this is not an official cartridge, otherwise I can't imagine how any official cartridge would give away all the codes on the back of the cartridge. It's a hacked version of Super Contra. I think they call it Super Contra 5 or something, where you start off with 5 lives. But other than that, it's the same Super Contra game that you're familiar with if you played it on Super C. Anyways, Super Mario 3. It's Super Mario 3. What else can I tell you? That's the Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. I used the English title because that's what's on the cartridge. And again, if you've seen my Curious Gaming Find vlog from a couple months back, then you'll know what I mean. Anyways, actually wait, there's also, before I should go to that, there's also this 32-in-1 Multicart. And this one has 3 repeats, and the rest are all unique titles, more or less. I think it was like what I wanted to say before was that the general idea that I came across, or like the general pattern I find, is that the more games that they boast, the more repeats that there are. 250 in one, there were like 40 games. 190 has about 90 unique titles, and then 115 has the most unique titles. At least that was a pattern that I noticed. I could be wrong in that regard, but at least in all the multi-carts that I came across, that was indeed a pattern. Even with the Power Player, when I had that for a while, was the same thing. So anyways, now we dwell on the games that I got with the Miracle X that a friend of mine happened to pick up for me. Anyways, this is this game. If anyone knows the title of this because they read Japanese better than I do, and by which I mean I can't read a lick of Japanese unless it's translated and it's called Hadouken or something like that. Or show you. Anyways, this is the 8-in-1. This is what I call the pain in the ass cartridge, and one of these days I'll do an overview why, but I'll give you a little hint. The connector, when I try to push it into the cartridge slot, it pushes in. The reason for that is, well, I won't share it here. I'm running short on time anyways. This is the Super Mario Party. I did an overview on this a month ago? Last month I think it was. Last month or two ago, whatever. Anyways, it's the one with all the Mario games, but only a couple of them work properly, so anyways, I'm losing all the time. This is the other 8-in-1 cartridge that I got in Korean type. And this was the this is actually the new edition. This is the latest one I got, the 15-in-1. And a whole bunch of covers here. And you'll see that the only notable bit is that Mario's face has been distorted for some reason. Anyways, so that's my collection of Famicom cartridges. That's my NES Multicart collection thing. I want to end it here, but yeah, that's just a short sample of the stuff that I have littered in my collection. Maybe I'll do more in the future. Maybe. Thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, good night.